The quiet here is false. It holds its breath like a beast pretending to sleep. I've known that stillness in deserts before dawn, when the earth lies as if it has no memory of man. But the memory returns, it always returns. The bones beneath every court still whisper. You wear a helm and call it truth. I have no such costume. My flesh is bare because there is nothing left to veil. And when you speak, lawman, I will listen, as one listens to the barking of dogs in a burned village, useful only to measure the fire's reach.
Doesn't matter what you think this room is. It'll serve. A surface, a voice, a record. That's all I need. The rest? The silence, the shape of the table, the fact you're not cuffed, none of it changes the outcome. You speak like this is a sermon. Like you're the last voice before the storm. I've walked through real storms, killed in them, filed the paperwork after. You talk like time doesn't touch you. Let's see how you handle a verdict.
Your verdict is a fiction crafted by frightened men, a liturgy penned by the dull and enforced by the obedient. I've seen it stitched into uniforms whispered in the dark by cowards who beg to be ruled. It never lasts. The law is not steel. It is sand held between trembling hands. I do not stand before you to be measured. I have already passed through the reckoning. My deeds do not require defense. They are their own scripture.
You're not here because of poetry. You're here because of bodies. Entire villages peeled and stacked, names erased, children skinned, mothers crucified. You call it ritual. I call it homicide with performance issues. The badge on my chest isn't for debate, it's a promise. If you walk away from this room, it won't be because you talk circles around the system. It'll be because the system still has room for waste management.
What you call bodies, I call the chorus of time. You see cruelty, I see the materials of meaning, these towns you weep for, built on the bones of others. Every law is born of conquest and kept alive through theater. You serve a city whose bones already rot beneath the asphalt. I do not mourn, I witness. I do not prosecute, I participate. And the war I serve has no end, nor does it ask for yours.
War doesn't ask for mine. It's afraid of me. I've put bullets through men who called themselves gods. I've stood in front of mobs too big for reason and watched them scatter when they saw the eagle on my chest. You think you're above consequences because you've wrapped them in ritual. But ritual ends the moment someone steps forward with a weapon and uses it. You never met a judge before. You never met one who meant it.
Oh, I've met judges, long before your city, your code, your weaponized bureaucracy. They wore robes stitched with gold or bone or fire. They presided over trials in caves and cathedrals, in the charred remains of cities they'd condemned. They all believed they preserved something. You do too. But I see the way your mouth sets when I speak. You came here hoping I'd be mad, unraveled. It would make the sentence easier, but I am not mad. I am ancient, and I am patient.
It didn't come for madness. I came for facts. You're alive. The numbers check out. No one's denying what you've done. You walk through worlds like you're part of the dirt, but the trail behind you's full of crimes that never had names. The law evolves to keep up. I don't need you to scream. I just need you to stay still. Once the last line's read, the case closes. Doesn't matter if it was madness, ritual, or prophecy. In the end, you get processed like everyone else.
There it is. The flattening, the desire to make all transgression equal, all punishment identical. That is the error of cities. They replace myth with policy. I am not a man. I am not a beast. I am the record itself. I have seen men scream and then quiet as they became history. You think this is a process. It is not. It is a resurrection. You speak your little sentence, and I speak mine. One of us will be remembered, and that will be the judgment.
I'm here for consequence. You keep circling the idea that you're beyond it. But I've put perps just like you into the ground with less ceremony than a trash pickup. You think what makes you different is some higher cause. What makes you different is the scale. You did more, not better, not deeper, just more. That doesn't make you a god. It makes you efficient. And I've got protocols for that too.
The universe does not issue warrants. It gives you birth and watches what you do with it. I held scalp dances beneath lightning and saw children cheer at the fall of cities. You see offense, I see pattern. You hand down punishment, I complete stories. Your world believes it has evolved past blood. But blood has memory, and it remembers how men built law books with one hand and torches with the other.
Blood's not memory. It's cleanup. I've walked through blocks where the air itself was a crime scene. Don't talk to me about pattern. I've seen the same type of death repeated for decades. You like to think there's meaning in your killing. There isn't. Just people who thought they were too big to fall. Most of them didn't talk as much. You're the only one I've seen treat a trial like a stage. But the lights are about to go out.
No, Dredd, not out, only turned, towards something older than your systems, something deeper than evidence. The tribunal I serve cannot be disbanded. It was not formed by charter, but by dust, by fire, by the hunger in men that names no law but death. When I leave here, it will not be as a prisoner. It will be as a continuation of what began long before you and will not end when your city burns.
You're not walking out. Not in continuation, not in cuffs. You've had your say. It's been logged, time-stamped, and will be used as evidence. You won't be remembered for your sermons. You'll be remembered for your body count. I've taken down warlords, rebels, and entire crime syndicates with less self-regard than you. If this was about myth, you might have a shot. But this is about death, and in my world, it has rules.
The rules you speak of were written in eras when men still believed the sun would rise for them. You were forged in fear. I was never forged. I am recurrence. When your megacity folds and the records rot and the badge lies rusted in some forgotten alley, I will still be written where it matters, not in books, in behavior, in the urge to destroy and be celebrated for it. You call me criminal. I am cathedral.
You're not a cathedral. You're a collapsed building with corpses in the basement. The kind we clear out after an earthquake and list under unsanctioned architecture. You think you'll echo. You won't. You'll rot in a cell so dark, even your shadow will get lost. Your name's not a lesson, it's a warning. And I'm the one who stamped it.
You would be surprised how many men I've met who died with law in their mouths. Judges, generals, preachers, all of them convinced the verdict was theirs to give. But the world does not care what is spoken. It only cares what is done. And I have done what most men only dream of, with their hands trembling beneath blankets. You do not frighten me.
No stage, no audience. Just a chair, a file, and a form with your name on it. That's the difference between your dreams and my reality. You talk like death made you sacred. I've seen death get cuffed, sentenced, and thrown into isoprobox for decades. Your performance, and they all end.